Take a swig.
It's almost that time.
Yeah, man, the Swig podcast,
Yeah,
man.
we gotta tune in.
Hey, man, let me grab this beer right quick, man.
Yeah, let me get my drink ready.
Yeah, man, oh, shoot, man, they be talking about all types of on it, man. The lagers, the man.
There's some beers I ain't never even heard of on there.
We about to learn about them, though, shoot.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
What's up, world? It's your boy, the Beerded Brotha, back at it again with another exciting episode of the Swig podcast. And of course, with me,
Shani, Hadiya, the marvelous gift in the building. What up, people? How y'all living today? Hope y'all all right.
hopefully living the dream, because that's what
Yes.
we're doing right now.
Bouncing back from a rough week, hell of a weekend. We gotta take a moment to RIP Chadwick Boseman, man. That was
just a moment of silence.
yeah. That was a rough one.
Yeah, that took me by surprise. Like, I almost forgot about how little I still believe it right now. I almost forgot about it until you just brought it up.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about it in pre-show.
Right. I was like, that show did happen like 2 days ago.
As I was like asking the people how they were, I was like, wait a second. Like, this was a rough week. Rough weekend. It was, hell, yes, the rough week. Going into the rough weekend.
Right.
And luckily we had some love for the culture come through.
Yes.
But before we get into the love for the culture, the hell are you drinking?
You know, I'm actually going lighter on this first pick. I got a Clown Shoes Mango American Kolsch. So I'm usually, as you already know, I love my stouts, and I'm usually always drinking a stout. Don't worry, one's coming up on the episode.
Yeah,
We'll get into that in a minute. But I had to start out light with my with the Kolsch, so I'm gonna give it a taste.
Okay. See, yeah, Clown Shoes. Where is that out of?
Let's find out. I feel like I vaguely know.
How was it?
It was good. It's very traditional Kolsch, very bready, but that hint of mango is actually a nice little twist to it. It's very refreshing. You could definitely drink this at the pool or doing your socially distanced outside activities. This is a good beer to have in that cooler.
Okay, all right. So the mango was just a nice little kick to it. I could see that being real tasty.
Yeah.
I can see that being refreshing. I like mango. It's the mango. Nobody's gonna understand that, but well, I looked it up. They're out of Boston.
That's what I thought. I didn't want to say that.
Yeah.
Completely wrong.
Yeah, I've definitely heard of them, but it's like, man, when I went to Boston, I swear all I went to was Trillium.
That's like their, for Nashville folks, that's like their southern rest of that area.
Yeah, no doubt. I actually have some of their Black is Beautiful on the way, so that's pretty cool.
I need that.
But
mine's for Florida coming up. Just throwing that out there.
See, Black is Beautiful. All Black is just damn beautiful. So speaking of Black is Beautiful,
yes.
I am drinking Black People Love Beer by Crowns and Hops, BPLB, and we do. Of course, Crowns and Hops, they're Black owned. I was excited to get their stout that we had on the last episode before that.
Episode before, yes.
Yeah, that was really a hit. And this is my first sip that I'm about to take of their hazy IPA, version 3. So I haven't had version 1 or version 2 to compare. But at this point, I have to at least start from 3 and see what the rest of them, that's my goal now, is to see what the rest of them taste like.
You know, it's got to be kind of good if they got 3 versions out.
It is good. So it's not super hazy. It's on a lighter side of haze, which is good for me. It's giving a nice, man, this is good.
I was like, I don't know if it's the Zoom camera, but it looks like it's a nice hazy juice bomb out there over there.
Yeah, but it's not that juicy. Like it's not, that it, there's some hazies where you drink it and your mouth is automatically goes dry, and it's not that. It's like, because I guess because it's so juicy, but this one is just it has a nice fruit forward flavor, nice orange taste. It's like it's a good IPA. Like there's nothing, no frills about this. It's just done well.
That's good. There's nothing wrong with that. Being having no frills, and as long as it's done well, that's like you just said. That's very important.
See, I would actually want them to do a West Coast IPA just because they're on the West Coast. Black people do love beer, but we have certain styles. And I think that we'd gravitate to hazy more before doing that piney West Coast joint.
Super bitter, especially if you're a newer drinker or experimental. It's not something to me you would want to jump into.
I wouldn't want anybody to jump into that either. I had a really good IPA yesterday when I was watching the Versus, and it was that people power. Well, I'll talk about that one more on another episode, probably next week, because I'm gonna drink it then. I'm excited. Look, I'm already excited thinking about the beer for next week. But
right.
But the main thing was I was watching the Versus, and that was such a great wind down to, like I said, that rough ass week and weekend, all of it.
Every 90s black woman heart was so full for those couple hours yesterday.
Listen, don't try to put just black women, black people. Listen, they had 1.2 million viewers on that one. They broke the record.
Right.
You
are right about that. Yeah, we did. It was beautiful.
The culture showing up. Surprise guest.
Right. Kamala Harris out here turning up with us.
Kamala pulled up on them. She was fangirling a little bit though. It was like because before they started at 12. Let's say they really popped off about 16, where it was out where they were mainstream at this point. That was 20 something years ago.
Yeah, right.
Kamala was not a VP candidate 20 something years ago. 20 something years ago, she was an adult, but
she wasn't even like DA yet.
She was just a regular person. So she was jamming to Brandy and Monica just like the rest of us, y'all.
Right. I thought she was gonna start her walk for a second. I was like, oh girl.
Listen, I was like, she was like, "There's a surprise," and I'm like, what's gonna be the surprise? What do we have?
What could we possibly do right now?
Yeah. Now, let's be real. It's the election season, so I'm not surprised Kamala showed up, but I wasn't expecting her.
Yeah, I can see that. I'm on the same line. I'll probably say I was surprised. Actually, I'll take back what I just said. But yeah, I think I was surprised. I was like, I know it's the election time. You trying to appeal to everybody, but it's just like on the Versus.
Yeah,
I'm not mad at it, but I was like,
but no, you got to think about it though. You got to think about it. Michelle pulled up at D Nice. She was on there. She was rocking a D Nice before when everybody, like when he first started with the quarantine wind down, whatever it is, quiet storm, whatever he calls it. But when he first started with his DJing on that Saturday, he was like, he went for hours.
23/7.
Yeah, he Michelle tuned in then.
That's crazy.
So
it's awesome to see though.
Yeah. It was so the Dems are realizing, like, let me jump in there and they'll get a little bit of everybody. They'll hit everybody at that point. And people that they're really trying to attract. So if they're smart, they're gonna do something like that. So that's why I'm saying I'm not surprised that she did it. I just wasn't, so I guess I wasn't Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I wasn't expecting it, but I wasn't surprised when she showed up because I was like, oh, okay, this makes sense.
You put it like that, yeah. But in
Yeah,
that moment, I was like, oh shit.
yeah. I was like, oh, I was
But now,
like,
like after like decompressing a day or so later, I'm like, that
right.
makes
And then
sense.
my God, thank you. If it was Biden, I would have probably cut the shit off.
Right. I was
Like,
God.
no, dog, you do not even know who Brandy and Monica is. Like,
See, now, like, if this is not obvious that you're trying way too hard, I don't know how else that could be screamed out at people.
yeah, like you knew
Like,
Kamala was, I mean, it's a little bit of pandering to the audience, but it was still an opportunity.
I feel
When
like
you were
she
like,
still
she
listens to them.
knows, at least knows this stuff.
Yeah, I was like, she probably listens to them while she's signing off on some writing roast for the orange man in the White House. Like, I know that's bumping somewhere in her household,
Like
so it's
she
not
coming
that much of
through
a stretch,
just one of those days.
right?
She writing
Yeah.
in her journal like Brandy. That shit was crazy.
Have
Did you
her
see
like
that
own
meme
version of
where,
Moesha.
huh? Yeah.
Have her own episode of Moesha.
Yeah, I'm like, you really came through like Moesha. Maybe she learned a lot from that moment.
Right, dear diary.
Dear diary. Yeah, that was but the meme had Monica falling out because Monica, because Brandy was like, I got a poem. I got a poem for this. So did you, I know you were in and out because you were watching a lot of basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see the body language between the two?
Yeah, I've still felt the energy. It was tense. You could cut that shit with a knife.
Yeah.
But it was still like good to see that they could at least be cordial because they knew this moment was bigger than what issues they got.
I think yes. I do want to give them that credit. But also new single, new album, independent, got to make that money. Listen, this was a very financial opportunity because 30 out of 40 songs on Apple Music's top 40 rap, R&B, and soul tracks are Monica and Brandy. So I know I went and listened to a couple songs after that because, of course, after hearing a minute and a half, if that, however long it is, it wasn't enough.
Right. I need all of this.
Did you think they were beefing? Like, did you feel the tension?
There was an awkwardness like looming for sure.
Yeah.
So I think they did have a conversation and it was what it was, how you reacted to it. But I think they had the conversation they needed to have, and each person was still kind of like figuring out their emotions about the conversation. So they had to like kind of like fake it on camera, like we got to be cool for this, which was like big on them because they easily could just like it easily could have broke down.
Yeah, and it
But there
felt like
was
it
some
was
shade
about to at one point.
It what?
At one point, it kind of felt like it was about to.
Yeah, I was like, there's some like I don't remember the exact moments, but I was like, there's several shade points in this conversation.
I think in certain situations, Brandy was trying to make jokes of things, but she couldn't. I mean, but it was too soon. It was like we just had the conversation. Like, let's interact a little bit after the conversation before we start throwing jokes around.
And people still talking about you getting smacked up by Monica, so that's still fresh on people's minds. And
so speaking of that,
so
I saw a clip. I saw a clip from Dallas Austin talking about the Monica punch and Brandy. So let me be like, there's been back in the day, there was all kind of conversation about Brandy and Monica beefing, and I kind of thought it was kind of how things are now. Social media hypes so much shit up, and people come out and be like, I mean, we good. Like, I don't really know them to not like them, or, you know what I'm saying? That situation didn't happen. But when they were coming up, there wasn't any social media. There was just, rumors and stuff. And so I guess there should have been some truth to it, because, again, like, social media wasn't there. But I didn't know / care about the beef enough to know that it was so much.
I don't really remember it.
Yeah, but Dallas Austin said that, like, they recorded the Boy Is Mine. Monica did not want to do the song. She didn't like Brandy's vibe. She just, something was about her. And she felt that Brandy kind of looked at her a funny way. It just might have something to do with Brandy's eyes being further apart, but
another conversation for another day. Welcome to the Hangover Roast session.
She pretty though. She pretty, but yeah, she said so. They recorded the song in Atlanta, in LA, and then they did the video. But he was like, when they did the video, it was together. And then when they stopped recording, they were separate. And so, yeah. And so
never knew that, but I'm not surprised at hearing that.
Right. And so from there, they were at the AMAs or MTV Music Awards, some awards, and they said Monica went right up to Brandy and just decked her. Dallas Austin said,
fresh skippity pat right there from Tony Baker, just smacked her up.
Yeah, she just came in, blow. And she was like, I knew she was gonna just say something to me that I didn't want to hear, some shit like that. I was like, bruh, Monica is Goonica. You know they call her Goonica.
Yeah. I was like, you smack somebody over just what you assume they gonna say?
Hey, Goonica.
Hey, and sometimes you just do what you gotta do. He's like, you feel like it's coming, you gotta do what you can to stop it. Like
essentially. So I mean, you're Monica, you're wrong as fuck for that. But sometimes people just bring it out of you. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's some things you gotta do.
Nope. You need a punch to the face. Come here.
Right. Come here, let me fuck up your face real quick. You about to say something, I already know it.
Right.
But, so song wise, who do you think won?
That one was tough. I have honestly forgotten how many low key hits / high key hits Brandy had. I kind of already knew about Monica already, so I was like not surprised the stuff she brought out when she brought it out. But like Brandy, I would say just because of my forgetfulness, I'll give it to her. I'm like, oh yeah, she did do this song. She did this song too. I was like a lot of like just re-triggering of memories of like a certain song. So I'll give it to her based on that. But for a person who can sing, I go Monica.
Okay. So Brandy is known for her vocals, like in the industry. She's a student of the art, and she seems to study. And there was even like one meme where they were talking about well, I don't know if it's as funny, but they're talking about like Brandy is the type of girl that had supportive mentors and family, and was able to take her skill, develop it, hone it, grow. And Monica was the hood chick who just happened to be able to sing. And, that's what she get out there, and that's what she do. And there's probably some truth to that. But Monica, I enjoy Monica. I'm a Monica fan more than a Brandy. But I will say I was surprised that Monica got out there and like she sounded really well. Sounded really like I was like, okay, Monica, like do your thing.
She got some lessons probably. working on something.
But you think about it, she could always sing. She does not have, I don't think she has range.
Okay. That's
So
fair.
I don't know, like
her voice is not that strong.
No strong voice. It's just like she can't go high with it. You know, she's gonna sing in her, like she got a comfort zone. And that's where she stays, and she owns that comfort zone. But like Brandy takes that comfort zone and doubles it, and so she can flow above and beyond, you know, in that range of Monica's. So Monica sounds good, she can sing, she just don't have the vocal range that Brandy does. Now, when you listen to hit songs, I feel like Monica has it all day. I was surprised that Brandy did come with a little bit of heat, though. I was like, okay, I had to give her a couple of them. I had to give her a couple of them.
Yeah.
And just ones that I just want to ask you too, that are, I guess, popular songs.
Mm-hmm.
So Brandy's "I Wanna Be Down." I wanna be down.
Oh, yeah, I remember it.
Yeah, I'm giving the people a taste of it. Yeah, I like my voice. Or Monica's "Don't Take It Personal." Ooh. Don't take it personal. Baby.
Ooh, I'm gonna say
you study long, you study wrong, bro. Huh?
I caught what you just said. But I gotta go probably Brandy's "I Want to Be Down." It's just a good universal song.
Yeah.
Versus like "Don't Take It Personal." I feel like you listen to that like after like you about to break up with somebody or you just broke up with somebody, but you did the breaking up, so you're like, hey, love you, but I gotta go.
So another thing I did not know is that people equated this song to "Don't Take It Personal" to talking about periods. It's just one of those days that a girl goes through when I'm angry inside, don't want to take it out on you. You know, don't take it personal when it's just one of those days. I'm on my period.
Allow me.
That a girl goes through.
That's not something I would think about.
Monica came out and said Monica came out and said it wasn't about the period though. So that's what she said.
Conspiracy theory I could believe if I didn't know what you just said about her not saying it. You told me that I would have believed it.
Yeah, when I listen to the lyrics though, I'm like, this definitely sounds like it's about a period.
My male brain had no idea. I was like, oh, that's a breakup song. Like that idea never would have crossed my mind.
Yeah. So the other one, okay. I think I'm gonna ask you about Usher featuring Monica, "Slow Jam." Play another slow jam. Okay. And then Brandy featuring Chris Brown, "Put It Down." I'm gonna put it down, you're gonna fall in love. I'm gonna put it down, you're gonna fall in love.
Radio hit, "Put It Down" definitely trumps that. If it's like you need some energy with a little bit of soul, I'll "Put It Down" as that. But actually, like lyrically and sonically, Usher and Monica.
I agree on that one for sure. Okay.
10 times out of 10.
Yeah, they're two different songs. But
yes.
If we just talking about Usher and Monica's song against Brandy and Chris Brown's song,
it sounds better. Like, even though that song still sounds really great, it's just like
that "Slow Jam" was classic. Like you were a kid, you thought you was getting it.
Like that meme of a little like black child yelling. It's like,
yeah,
yelling at those lyrics,
singing the song. Absolutely.
Just throw your head back, kind of screaming right there.
Yeah, man. So this was a good versus. Again, they didn't have any Teddy Riley issues. The production has ramped up tremendously.
Yes, and it helps that they're in the same space.
Yes, that too.
That changes.
Not trying to be like, oh, let me get you back on. Because I'm still trying to figure out why people request to be in live videos that you are not ever going to be a part of.
Right.
Still trying to figure that out. But again, it was a good way to wrap up the weekend and just think about and not think about the issues of the past week.
At hand, yes.
So you were watching both. I know you were glued to the NBA. They're back.
Yeah, I was watching it, but I was listening. Monica and Brandy. I was watching NBA right here in the ears. So I was in the middle of both worlds. So like basketball and teams playing are like my verses. So I love seeing great basketball. So this return has been restart, they call it. It's been incredible. Some fantastic basketball and even better social justice. This is why I love the NBA, but also at the same time, this is why the NBA can get on my nerves sometimes. Because I've been loving their social justice, writing Black Lives Matter on the courts, kneeling, and everything like that. But if you guys aren't familiar, they finally got tired of everything after don't want to butcher his name, Jacob Blake.
Yep.
Was shot in the back 7 times in Kenosha. They were like, okay, we can't handle this. And it started with the Bucks. They didn't show up to their game 5 last week. I want to say it was Thursday. They didn't show up. Even the team they played, the Orlando Magic, they didn't even know they weren't going to show up. They go out there, warming up, suited up, ready for battle.
Yeah.
Nothing's going weird. And then they start hearing about this. They, of course, joined in. And then all the games subsequently the NBA tried to say it got postponed. It didn't, people. It got boycotted. They're trying to flip that narrative. It got boycotted, those games. Those players pulled out and was like, nah, we can't do this. We gotta focus on what's going on in the world. That's what makes me love the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
Now, where it gets on my nerves was they had Thursday and Friday off. Nobody played their games. Then just 2 days later, Saturday, they back hooping again.
Okay.
And I'm just like, y'all, if it was any time y'all had the power of the owners and all the people in the front office, this was the time y'all had that power where y'all could have paradigm shift everything.
Okay, so let me throw something at you. What typically when people protest or boycott, or strike within their jobs, is typically for self-preservation or financial gain or self-gain. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a reason why people usually protest, which understandable. And the NBA, I totally stand by what they did, but having it going longer, what could the NBA owners front office do for the reason that the NBA was for the reason that the NBA players were boycotting? You see what I'm saying?
Like what could they have done?
What could the NBA owners do in a sense of police injustice or Jacob Blake getting shot in the back 7 times? Like
yes.
what could the NBA you know what I'm saying? Like the players they're boycotting, and typically you boycott to say, hey, I'm not playing until you give me X, Y, and Z.
Right.
Well, what can the NBA give the players that will satisfy their need for social justice?
Just being able to to me, they have done this is actually call their cities politicians, whether you like them or not.
Yep.
And demand certain things, get things set up in place for reform to happen.
You saying the owners or the
owners, they made millions, if not billions of dollars off these dudes.
I don't disagree. I wasn't necessarily happy with them coming back. But I thought about it. Somebody said it was like a mental health day. They took a mental health day, so it was like, okay, I could see that. And the other thing that I was just thinking about, and really it was just as you were talking before, was what could the NBA owners do? And if they said, okay, so you said like call the politicians and make a stand or whatever. If the NBA owners say, yes, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this, and here's 3 other things that I'm going to give you on Thursday or Friday, why wouldn't the NBA players show back up on Saturday? Because now they're turning the arenas into voting.
I was just about to get to that. I love that. I think my part of it is like I would bring in their counterpart, the WNBA, and the question that differentiates them is what took so long. Like the WNBA, if you've been paying attention at all to them, they been with the shits.
Oh, easy.
For years. Even starting these playoffs, the first game, those players walked off during the national anthem. Whether you want to make jokes, nobody watches, you making these comments on these videos, but yet you watched. So it's like not because you didn't watch it live, you saw it, and then you went out of your way to comment, which is another conversation. But it's just like, I think it's like what took so long. That's what is the issue with the NBA. They're just, I feel like they're always behind the 8 ball comparatively to the WNBA.
Yes.
Like those women are putting the Atlantic Dream owner through hell for her support of Donald Trump.
Oh yeah.
They're like basically like, you gonna sell this team, like, but they've always been with that energy. Now it's just like the NBA is like, I guess we do it too. I was like,
I do want to give the NBA their credit. I think that they.
Yes, I'm not taking anything from their credit. I don't. Yeah, I want to.
But yes,
make sure of that
the WNBA definitely stands above and beyond these guys. When it stands up above and beyond these guys when it comes to social justice. I'm excited to just buy some WNBA gear as being a former basketball player that I should have done it, previously.
I need a Diana Taurasi jersey.
Yes.
That's like my favorite. That's like one of my favorite players in general. I've been watching her since UConn, but that's neither here or there. I just want to share my fanboyism.
That's all it is, huh? That's all it is fanboy.
Yeah, she hoop her and Sue Bird.
Yeah.
Cheryl Swoops, of course, legend. You gotta throw her in there.
You said Cheryl Swoops?
Yeah, you gotta throw her in there.
That's without a doubt. I've met Cheryl several times, and just as a basketball player, and I was not a water girl, but the ones who used to wipe the floor.
Oh yeah.
When it was the ABL back in the day, when it was before the WNBA, when it was the ABL.
Oh man.
Throwback. Rob.
Oh man.
With the NBA doing what they did, again, I appreciate it. I felt it was very real. A lot of the guys have had issues with law enforcement themselves.
Yep, Sterling Brown from the Bucks got handed up really bad about 2 years ago.
Yep.
By the cops out there.
Yep. So it definitely I get it. The thing that kind of not the NBA, like, again, I felt all of that was genuine, and everybody else going beyond them, and all of the NBA teams were genuine within those 2 days. But the NFL, like, canceled practices or something.
There's only so much they can do in the off season. You know what I mean?
Right, which leads me to feel like it's bullshit. Because if I don't see that same energy when the NFL season starts, like, I need a team to walk off. I need a team to not show up for.
I'm so glad you said that.
Like, that's gonna show, not practice, my guy. Y'all had a lot of opportunity to stand with Cap or to kneel with Cap, shall I say.
Y'all gotta have the grandest of all gestures. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
So, you know, so when these people, and we know why the NFL protest, the NBA is almost like 75% black.
mm-hmm.
That's not quite the case for the NFL. And football is more of a, I'm not trying to, like, it's an everybody sport, but definitely like white folks, they definitely rock hard with the
They
NFL,
love their
with
football.
football in general. And so I know why the NFL struggles more than the NBA on the social justice side. But if you want me to believe that y'all are really about that life, I need the players to do stuff separate from the coaches.
Yes.
Even like Alabama, Nick Saban, like he walking his team on, like they canceled practice. You canceled it. But I want to see the protest. I want to see the students or the players bucking the fucking system.
Yes. And y'all sitting right the fuck down. Like my cousin used to be the AD at Vanderbilt. Rest in peace, cousin David. He said the same thing. It's like all it'll take is like a prime time Saturday night football game. Them boys, at least the black players, be like,
Nope.
Cody, Jake, y'all go do something. We ain't playing. Like we know
LSU,
he,
Alabama
Cordell,
game.
Daquan, they want to see us. We sit.
Give me an LSU Alabama game so I know it's real.
Right.
We talking. My cup empty. What you drinking?
Well, I'm pulling out a low-key heavyweight right here, but it's one of my favorites.
Okay.
It's been on the show before, so I'm already going to tell you. It is Trim Tab Imperial Stout. It's a Imperial Donut Stout.
I had that one at when I was working at the liquor store.
Mm-hmm.
That
is so good.
was it was good, but it was too good. I don't know how you can drink a 16-ounce of that bitch. It was so decadent.
Yes, it is very much one of those beers you either like, I'm going to throw a curveball. You can drink this if you have like a very light brunch, because it is a donut stout.
Yeah.
But you also can end the night with it as well.
You can end the night with that thing because it is eat dinner and then drink your dessert.
Exactly.
I am drinking New Zealand Sunset by Strange Days Brewing. They are out of Kansas City, Missouri. And this is a lighter side. You know, my IPA addict self tends to hover at least 7%.
That was probably pushing like 5.
Huh?
What is that one pushing?
This one is 4.7, so it's hella light. And it is a sour IPA. So sour IPAs are kind of my jam because it just gives me a little more flavor, a little more oomph. I think I like the bitterness that comes with the IPA coupled with like a little bit more of that sour. Like it takes that bitterness to a little bit of a sour edge, but not as sour as some of your other, like kettle sours.
Right. I'm actually surprised that's really light for a sour IPA, I feel like.
This is really light in general. This is good. I can drink a lot of these.
It's that session. You don't want to drink this Breakfast Hero by Trim Tab in the session. You won't make that session. Let's put it like that.
I'm getting a little lemony notes on this.
Yeah, I let this Breakfast Hero sit a little bit, get a little room temperature. It tastes way better than ice cold.
Really?
Oh yeah, it's
like I like to let my stouts sit out for a little second, or
technically you're supposed to.
I actually would rather take a longer time to drink them, so I might pour them up when it's cold, but I'm not just gonna push it back. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just throwing a time frame out there. Let's say it take me 15 minutes to drink a stout as opposed to like 9 minutes, with other things, but like 15 minutes to drink it. That taste when that first sip versus like that 10-minute sip,
it's way different.
Different experience, and you experience that within the whole the beer.
Right.
And we are, of course, we're talking about beer. That's very important because we're brews and views, but we are something local in our local Nashville community. Nashville is what
Yeah, you just combine Nashville and beer together.
Yeah,
The weird thing is, I'm kind of here for it. The Nashville community.
Nashville community.
We have to revisit that.
Yeah, yes. Mental note. It's going on, and it's kind of been going on kind of a little low key within the last 2 months or so.
Something like that, yeah.
Maybe a month and some change. But so everybody knows we're in a goddamn pandemic.
Or people supposed to know we are.
Well, we're in it. How you operate within it is a whole nother thing. But we're in a pandemic. It's still there. There are bars on Broadway. Excuse me. They have pretty much like said buck the system, and they were doing what they wanted to do. So in the height of everybody with bars having opened, as soon as they opened, they turned up for a check. Turned up. It made the worst beer blog. We made worst beer blog. We made national news. Everybody was just, people were bucking the system. What happens when you buck the system, Kramer?
You get got. Like, you got too confident and you flew like Icarus. You flew too close to the sun. Now you getting burned, and they got suspended for it. In terms of restaurants, you got suspended for 5 minutes, but it was 5 days.
Yeah.
So you couldn't sell alcohol. Like, oh no.
5 motherfucking days. And they were struggling. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand financially for a business. 5 days with no alcohol sales. They weren't closed, but they're known for their alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't operate as usual. So I think they went ahead and closed during that time. Maybe it been open for lunch or something, but they ended up suing off the strength of that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, because again, they got suspended for 5 days. One of the beer board members, Kia is vocal.
Yes.
I respect it.
I love it.
I love it. She said, and I quote, "It is white supremacy to say we broke the rules, but you've been too harsh on us. For hundreds of years, white people have benefited from breaking, bending, and grandfathering rules. The same rules that they then changed to harm Black people, even for seemingly simple indiscretions. Read a book and learn. As a member of the Beer Permit Board, I wish we'd done more. But I am also mindful that whatever precedent we set will also impact Black businesses too. For now, take the dang 5 days. Oh, and also mind your business, literally. The concept that we were wrong, but they were wronger is not an exemption from following rules, laws, and orders."
And it's not an exemption to act like a kid. Like, that's pretty much just dry snitching. You get in trouble, but you're like, Johnny did this though last week.
Listen, everybody mama, at least in the Black side, has said, if your friends jump off a bridge, you gonna jump off a bridge too?
Right.
So, God damn it, Steve Smith and Kid Rock. Because, of course, they were saying the protesters are out here protesting. So if they can come together and protest, we can come here and party. Like, what the fuck? People are protesting for for their lives. Close your bar down, go protest, and say that you want to open it at full capacity. Like, that's what your protest is. When the protesters break the law, breaking windows, setting fires, those are rioters, not protesters, but they get lumped in together. But if they break the law, then they goddamn are arrested. They're punished. They have to pay.
Right. This has nothing to do with the rules y'all have with the beer board and what y'all supposed to do during the pandemic. That has nothing to do with you. So the mere fact that you're trying to have that argument, like, why are you building such a terrible red herring argument? You're like, well, look at them. They are protesting for their lives. You don't allow them to do that?
Right.
How dare
you
y'all?
let them protest for their lives?
How dare they want to preserve their lives for generations to come?
What the fuck is that?
After all 400 years, who do they think they are?
You know,
like, no.
One of the things that stood out in an article that I read from the Nashville Voice, they pointed out how white people say, especially when it comes to black bodies being gunned down by the cops, if they would have just followed the rules, they'd still be alive.
Mm-hmm.
If they would have followed the rules, they would still insert blank. Well, motherfucker, if you would have just followed the rules for your bar, you would have still had your license. And what they're not realizing, but a lot of people have, especially in the beer community, these bars have made it difficult for breweries to open.
Mm-hmm.
Breweries end up getting lumped in with these shitty downtown bars that disrespect
every rule, and these brewers are following the guidelines beautifully.
Yeah, most of them. A couple of them.
Most of them. My bad. A lot of them.
Yeah, a lot. We'll go with that. A lot of them
are following it. Like, I feel safer at the breweries than even just driving through downtown. Let alone I'm in a car downtown.
Love beer, Kramer.
Yes and no.
But yeah. Driving downtown, you liable to catch something, and it might not be Rona.
You gonna probably wish it was.
Listen, man, it was just it was frustrating to see these bars buck the system and then come back and try to sue off the strength of it. Like,
what?
I mean, I agree with Kia. I stand with Kia. Like, that is a form of white supremacy, especially when in the same breath, they'll give you a butt for why black people shouldn't be protesting for their lives. You know, it's like
you just don't want to be accountable. Just say you don't want to be held accountable and keep moving.
Exactly. It's exactly bruh.
Just be honest. Just tell us your shitty ways so we can keep it moving. We don't associate with you. We make sure we steer clear of people that are you and look like you and move like you. And well, that's not really like keep it moving, but it's like, for the sake of this situation, yes, like I want to know that so I know not to go to anything you own or build or been a part of. I don't have to support that.
Yeah.
Like, I'd much rather you just come out and say it, and then if I see you when I see you, and how I act is how I act.
Yeah.
How that is, I don't know. If it's Tuesday,
The other thing I would say is, like, these businesses, first off, you have a business trying to compare themselves to regular folks. It's like, you signed up for this beer permit, you agreed to abide by the rules. So, like, as a regular human being of the United States, I am born into certain laws that I have to abide by. If I abide by them, I typically, there's an asterisk.
Okay.
Yeah, right. There's an asterisk here. Would be good. If I break them, then I am going to be X, Y, and Z. Now, as I navigate life and become an entrepreneur or get in different spaces, I end up having to adhere to other types of rules as well. So as a business owner, I have to abide by another standard of rules. So I got my human rules and then I got my business rules.
Mm-hmm.
I can't hold the human to the business rules, my guy. Like, that's not how
Right.
shit works.
Because you got other things that impinge on your reaction in your business rules that could affect humans that come into you breaking business rules because you want money over safety or whatever the motivation for you to keep moving forward when you're not supposed to, whether that's you about to be closed because your license is suspended or in a pandemic. If like you're not supposed to do something as a business, you do it. Take your L and keep it moving. Like it could be worse. Like it's 5 days in the pandemic. Like you're not getting that much revenue. I don't care what you have to tell me.
Here's where my frustration comes in with not with, on the for the businesses, like not frustrated with the businesses, but for them. The government should absolutely have done more to
Yes, I agree.
to make it where businesses can abide by the rules. So I understand the level of breaking them. Had Kid Rock and the other bars in the lawsuit, had they just said, shit, I broke that rule, I did, and took their L, I wouldn't have a problem with it. I would say I understand. But then you want to like sue, and really you want to throw in Kia based off of this. It's like, yo, you are. Like, this is black businesses don't have that opportunity to really buck the system like that.
Right. I think there's just people don't want to be held accountable. Even if she didn't bring race into it, she was just stripped that all away and held accountable, and she went as hard as she did in that passage about accountability.
Yeah.
I still think they would have came for her.
Yeah. They were looking for anything. They're looking
and they unfortunately got it.
And they got the right black person too. So I really I am a major supporter of Kia. I love what she's doing. I love her voice. I love the way she fights for our community.
Yeah. So, and I even messaged her. I was like, "Yo, anything the Swig can do, myself individually,
let me
reach
know.
me here. Let me know what I can do."
Yeah.
I was like, just anything. I was like, do not hesitate. I was trying to make sure she like understood that it wasn't like, oh, you just saying that to say that. I was like, no, like, hit me on the message here. If it's a move I can make that I have the power to make, I will do that. Or if I don't, I will reach out and do what I can to put my imprint and make something happen for you if you need it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So,
I mean,
that's another plea again. If you randomly listen to this episode,
listen, Kia
hear this. The Swig podcast got you. 100%.
She's a pillar in the Nashville.
7 days a week.
She's a pillar in the Nashville community. So like everybody about to have her back. Cause we agree and we understand, and she has every right to use her platform to speak truth to power. Fuck, like that's it. So I will say, based on the emails that we have sent, I have gotten positive feedback from our authorities to say, you know, that they support Kia as well, and they agree that she should stay on the board and all of that good stuff. So
I got the exact same stuff, so I'm breathing easy on that front.
Yeah, I do want to let the listeners know that. So the lawsuit happened, and that was like in June. I feel like they planted this lady in here, but she came in and she was like, I didn't know that there's a Facebook group, Open Nashville,
Reopen Nashville, something like that. Yeah.
Reopen Nashville. She came in and she was like, I didn't know this existed. I'm gonna call the beer board as soon as Monday, because it was like a weekend or something. I'm gonna call the beer board on Monday and get Kia removed from the beer board. Wait a goddamn minute, ma'am. That's fine. You think you can do that, but we got a whole gang of folks too, and we'll make calls and send emails as well. So you can keep on talking and you can keep on trying, but it is what it is.
Yeah, so again, we stand with Kia as the Swig podcast, and we just want to make sure we're there for her, and we just want to make sure if you guys need a resource, anything from that or anything like that from us, we're here at the Swig Podcast. Of course, you can follow us on social media at Swig Podcast on Instagram and Facebook. And you can follow me at the Beerded Brotha on all social medias. And where can they find you, Shani?
At the Black Beer Experience. Y'all check us out. We're putting some info out there. We on the Swig, we have the Education Mondays.
Mm-hmm.
Dropping a little knowledge. Kramer and I are doing some studying on, and we're sharing info that we come across. We felt it was good. Like, y'all take this journey with us. I'm just excited with what we have going. The liquor setting in. This 4.7 still hit me.
Yes, I am going like 9 point something, right? 8.5 right now. So it's slowly creeping up, grabbing me.
Yeah. So we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. Go ahead and end it. Cause I think between those two and whatever we might have drank before the recording it's
that's none of your business because it's not on the recording.
Yeah. We don't get no mentions on those. But y'all be easy. Continue listening. We stand with Kia. Black Lives Matter. All
Black is beautiful.
All Black Lives Matter, goddammit.
All of them. Every single one of them.
All of them. Peace.
Lift your glass to the Swig podcast and keep toasting. Take a swig. Take a swig, man.
Yeah.